piece of the story is that, things like that come to you along the way. You'll meet people along the way that you need to listen to, you need to hear. You need to really pull as much as you can out of people who have more experience than you do. So whatever your endeavor, wherever you decide to go, I really stress that you always reach out for people who are in that industry that you admire and talk to them. See who's got some great ideas, because it'll make some of those pitfalls that you normally would have gone through, and kind of just push them aside. So at that point in time, I thought, I'm a genius, right? We can do this over and over and over and over. So I wound up opening 10 of those stores, all in South Jersey. And we did it over about a 10-year period, from 1975 to about 1986. It's almost one store per year. It was a whole new management thought process for me, because now I wasn't cutting meat anymore, right? I was managing people. I was managing financials. I was managing cost of goods, advertising, and the company grew to a really nice sales number. Excuse me. But our bottom line didn't grow at the same rate that I expected it to grow. And what I found was that the largest cost that we had was customer acquisition. It was really difficult. As competition came on, the customer acquisition cost became really, really high. So whether it was advertising in newspapers, advertising on radio and television, it really became costly, and a large portion of our budget went towards that. So what began to happen is the local restaurants started coming to each of our stores. And you get a restaurant who would see our ground beef for 99 cents a pound and go, geez, I'm going to buy it from him at 99 cents a pound, because my wholesaler is $2 a pound. I'm going to buy his veal cutlet, I'm going to buy a sirloin steak. So what began to happen is we began to expand in the wholesale market to restaurants, to local restaurants. And I have to tell you, I took to that like a fish takes to water. I love that, because I didn't have to wait for anybody now. I could go knock on a door and I could say, look what I have to offer you, right? And I'm a real salesman at heart. That's really my background, because I have passion in my product. So we basically, at that point in time, decided, okay, we're going to really push on wholesale. Until the knock came on the door one day from USDA. Right? That was your earlier question. So USDA compliance comes in, and her name is Sharon Coppola. And she walks in and she says, what the hell are you doing? You cannot exceed more than 20% of your entire sales to a third party who's going to resell it inside the food industry, unless you are USDA inspected. So of course, at that point in time, I didn't know that. I had no USDA regs that I had to follow. I only had to follow the county rules, right? The county board of health, the local board of health in those municipalities. So when she came in, she immediately slapped us on the hand and said, no more. Can't sell any of them restaurants. Can't sell anybody any product. I said, well, that's a significant part of my business. It's about 35% of my business at this point in time, and growing. It's an aspect we really wanted to grow into. So how do I get to become USDA compliant? And she hands me a book about this thick. She said, well, you better start reading. She said, and you're going to see when you read this, there's lots of things you need. Like you need certain types of floor drains. You need different walls. You need different ceilings. You need a different floor. You need a USDA HACCP plan. You need to have a separate entrance for the USDA inspector with his own private office and his own private parking space. You need to have a men's room and a ladies' room, a men's bathrooms and ladies' bathrooms, and as well as locker rooms. So it became really, really intense on what we had to do. And after about an hour of her explaining what we needed to do, this was on a Wednesday, I said to her, can you come back on Monday? And she looked at me and she said, are you kidding me? She said, this will take you 6 to 12 months to complete. I said, please come back on Monday. My customers are expecting product now, and I can't let them down. So myself, my brother, and about 15 of our friends spent every waking hour from Wednesday to Sunday. Took the floors apart, put new floors in. Took the drains out, put new drains in. Put new floors in, new walls in, new ceilings. The problem we had was we didn't have any space for a locker room, or a men's locker room, ladies' locker room, men's bathroom, ladies' bathroom. And here it is on a Saturday morning. We created a parking space out there. We made a little office, put his name on the door with an air conditioner and a phone that's required. And we thought, how are we going to create, we can't create any more space. I can't go to the township and get permits. And if I could get permits, it's going to take me months to build. So I called a good friend of mine and I said, can you drop me two 40-foot trailers? And can you cut the wheels off of them and drop them right next to my building? I mean, put them butt up against the back of my building. They're temporary fixtures. I can get a permit for a temporary fixture in one day. He did that. He dropped them butt up against the building. We knocked 4 holes through the walls. 1 hole for a men's locker room, 1 for a ladies' locker room, 1 for a men's bathroom, 1 for a ladies' bathroom. Plumbers worked through 2 days to get it all set up, and subsequently she came back on Monday morning. And she said, you know, it's not great, but the effort was there. Here's your certificate of compliance. Wow. So from that point, we then were USDA inspected. And we now were able to go out. Yes, sir?
How did you finance all that? Did you just have enough cash flow at that point?
Had enough cash flow at that point because we had been in business for about 9 years at that point in time, and we were growing our business. So all of the, other than $10,000 that was initially given to us given to me by my dad, all of our growth has been organic. We have not had any outside investors. Yes.
So I take you did this from one location.
Yes.
You had one location specialized in.
Yes. We did that on Clements Bridge Road in Deptford by the Deptford Mall. Okay, we took that location and deemed that our USDA facility. So at that point in time, we now could go out and start to bang on doors. And we did. We started to go out and bang on doors and hit every local restaurant, every local pizzeria, anybody that we could sell product. And our business began to grow. And we really enjoyed that aspect of the business. And as it began to grow, we took some of the retail outlets and we actually sold them retail outlets. We brought some additional cash back in from selling those retail outlets because our main focus was going to be on USDA inspected product and moving into the wholesale market. So after a couple of years of that, we decided we needed a new facility, so we moved to a very small facility, it's about 6,000 square feet on Delsey Drive. And worked about a year in there. It used to be a furniture store. Worked at turning it into a USDA facility. Got a granted inspection in there, and then moved our operations to that facility. Now at that point in time, our annual sales were about, in total, were about $10 million a year. And we were paying the bills. I was making an income, but not a whole lot more than that. As we built this, we started bringing customers to it, and we started to get a little bit of momentum. So we put an addition on it of 3,000 square feet, so now we're up to 9. And about a year later, we put another 3,000 square feet on it. Now we're up to 12, but we ran out of room at that point in time. Couldn't go any further. So the thought process we had at that point in time was, we've moved to a facility to 12,000 square feet. We bring customers in, and it's not a question of capturing a customer, because we knew we had customers that wanted our product. We knew we had a product that had a point of differentiation, we had a price point that would work, and we had a cost structure that would work. So we decided we're going to really take the jump. We're going to build a facility from the ground up, and we went down to the Purelands Industrial Park in Swedesboro, right off of exit 10. And my brother and I laid out a design and a diagram, and there was about 12 acres that was for sale down there, and we had a 55,000 square foot facility that we were going to put on it. Problem was, I couldn't get it financed. Okay? We were doing $10 million worth of sales. The building was going to cost me $6 million to build. I couldn't get a bank. I couldn't get most of the banks to even look at it because it just, on paper, they just looked at what I had done. It didn't look at what I would do. So I had to get I had to encourage a banker to understand and believe in the people, okay, and believe in the trends that we've created and the way that which we've grown our business. And each step of the way that we built something, we were able to fill it and get to the next step. So